Today I'm going to show you how to flash a custom ROM on your Samsung device. With me here is the Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 to demonstrate. These steps are identical to every Samsung device. I am going to be thorough and explain as best as I can. You can also check out my Buy Me a Coffee page to download a full guide for every major device, and also support is included in some packages, so you can go check that out. And now let's begin. This is your full guide to flash a custom ROM for your Samsung device. Now let's begin with some warnings. I am not responsible for any damage to your device. The manufacturer is not responsible for any damage to your device. The developers are not responsible for any damage to your device. This is all on you. If anything goes wrong, it's all on you. But with that being said, I will help you out. Reach out to me on my Discord or Telegram if you have any queries or any question, and I'll try my best to help you out. Mistakes happen, but nothing is permanent unless you really mess up. Second of all, do not flash software that is not meant for your device. Even if you have the Samsung S22, but you found the firmware files for the S22 Plus, these are not compatible and exchangeable. Flash S22 files for the S22 and S22 Plus files for the S22 Plus. Doing anything else can leave your phone as a glorified brick. Now, last of all, not all devices have a custom ROM, but most have a GSI, a generic system image. These are not the same. A custom ROM is an OS build compiled for a specific device, but a GSI is a generic build of the OS. Let me explain. For example, Lineage has builds for specific devices. This makes Lineage OS to be the custom ROM for those devices. Now, Lineage and the Lineage team cannot build for every device, so there is also a GSI variant which brings Lineage in its entirety to more devices due to Android launching something called Project Treble all the way back in 2018 for Android 8 and over that allows a GSI to be a thing. So when you flash a GSI, you have a GSI and not a custom ROM. Kindly do not mix these two up. It's quite a pet peeve because people usually mix the two. They say I have a custom ROM when they actually mean a GSI, and the device actually does not have a custom ROM. But anyway, that's that. And also, due to their generic nature, GSI are not as good because they are not tailored for the device that they will be flashed on. So bugs can happen since multiple devices exist. But since not every device can have a custom ROM, people have to stick with it, and the bugs get squashed by the individual developers of the GSI on a case-by-case basis. So if you have a ROM for your device, flash that and not a GSI. Now let's go back to the video. So first of all, you're going to begin by unlocking the bootloader. This is what is going to allow the tampering of the phone OS. It's like a security net that allows you to install any other OS. So you're going to start by going to settings, then you're going to scroll down and click about phone. Now you're going to click software information. After clicking software information, you're going to tap build number 7 times. And as you tap, it's going to tell you how many steps it's left for the developer options to be available. As you can see, it's counting down, and you're going to tap it 7 times. And it's now going to tell you the developer settings is now available. You are then going to go back to the main settings page and scroll down, and you will see a new setting option called developer options. You are going to click developer options, and in it, you're going to scroll down all the way to OEM unlock. And this option will be off, and like it says below, this allows the bootloader to be unlocked. So you are going to turn it on, and you're going to see a warning: device protection features will not work on this device while this setting is turned on, which basically means 1. The factory reset protection feature will be disabled. This is a feature by Android where if you log into a device and you flash it without removing the account beforehand, when you boot up the device to set it up, you cannot set it up without logging to the account that was previously on the device before flashing it. It's a security measure put there by Android ever since Android 7, 8 there. 2. It means your overall security, or at least the manufacturer's belief of security, will be lowered, leaving it vulnerable according to them. 3. Knox will be dead. In simple terms, Knox is Samsung's security layer on its phones. By unlocking the bootloader, Knox will be tripped, and since Samsung does not trust the device anymore, all Knox secured services will permanently never work out of the box. This is your chance to walk back before you unlock the bootloader, since it's not reversible without swapping motherboards. You will lose Samsung Health, which for some reason still works out of the box on custom ROM. You will permanently lose Samsung Pass, Samsung Things, Samsung Smart View, and some others which I'm going to put on screen. You cannot reverse this. Knox is a fuse. It's an electronic fuse, and once you trip it, there's no going back. But there's a fix. You can spoof your device so that it shows that Knox is not yet tripped, and I'm going to show you how to do that later on in the video. So now when you click OK and you agree that you want to unlock the OEM unlock, you click OK. You have turned on OEM unlock and successfully removed the OEM lock. If you do not see an option for the OEM unlock, know that your device is carrier locked and you cannot unlock it. It's permanently locked. So you can't unlock the bootloader, you can't flash anything on it. So that's usually a question that I've seen quite a lot, and that's that. You can't do anything. If you can't see the option, you can't do anything. Now, we're going to move on to unlock the bootloader. Before we move on, I suggest your device to be charged at least 70% as we move on from here. Make sure it's 70% at the very least. Now, let's continue. What we are going to do is go into download mode. This is a Samsung exclusive mode that allows us to unlock the bootloader as well as allow us to flash stock firmware using the USB alongside a software called Odin, which you can watch in the pop-up video above, as I made a video on how to flash the stock firmware on your Samsung device. So I suggest you go check it out. It's pretty direct, pretty straightforward, and pretty short. So how do you get into download mode for your Samsung device? Well, it's basically categorized based on the type of device you have, which I can say there are two: new devices and old devices. How do you know which one you have? New devices have a Type-C, well, except the old A0X devices up until the A03, which is the exception as they are new enough. Anyway, let's move on. New devices also lack a home button and launched with One UI. Here is how to boot into download mode for those devices. You need to power off your device. Then when powered off on your device, hold the power up and down button together. Then, while the buttons are still held down, plug in the USB Type-C cable into your device and you will see you are in the download mode with this nice little warning. What we are going to do is hold the volume up button, since we are yet to unlock the bootloader, so we cannot continue. Now we are in the moment. Please note and remember, once bootloader is unlocked, your phone will erase your data, as you can read from the warning in the screen. This is to protect your data, so please, if you have not backed up your data, just go and do that right now. I am not liable for what they have warned you about, and neither are they. Now, since we are already ready, we are going to just press the volume up button and agree to unlock the bootloader and basically just flash all of our data. From this point, it's nothing fancy, and it's going to just reset your device and have you back at the initial setup screen, but the difference being your device bootloader is now unlocked. Now, we're going to head to developer settings to show you this. When you turn on the developer settings, as I showed you previously, you will see that the OEM unlock option is grayed out and it will tell you your bootloader is already unlocked. Now, time for the fun part. I need your device charged at this point. If your device goes off, it becomes a glorified paperweight. We are going to flash a custom recovery right now. Like in the name, this is a replacement of the phone's stock recovery, which will allow us more functionality, and it is what we will use to flash a custom ROM and even install root, among many other things. You are going to head to the popular custom ROMs and look maybe if your device is already supported and if there's maybe a build ready for you by the official devs. If not, you can head to XDA forums to check if someone compiled for your device, and this will be an unofficial build. So your support and bugs report will be directed to the developer who compiled it and uploaded it to the forums, not the official developers, since your device was not supported by them, but they're supported by this developer. You will not reach out to the official devs and their forums. This is just a note. Now, in our case, we are going to use TWAP, which is Team Win Recovery Project, which is a popular custom recovery, but there are many more options. So what you're going to do is boot back into download mode. Now you're going to download an app called Odin, which is what is used to flash the stock firmware. And in this case, we're going to use it to flash the custom recovery. I have a video which I'm going to link up right now on the top of your screen, which shows you how to use Odin to flash the stock firmware. So if you want to check it out, go have a look, or maybe save it for later. But right now, here's what you need to focus on. Now, the software looks scary, but it's pretty straightforward. And if you look here, you will see it will light green, or I believe it's cyan, when you connect your device while in download mode. So that's how you know you have set up properly and that you have the drivers ready and set to go. Now, the recovery file is going to be a .tar file, which is what we are going to use instead of the usual image file, since Odin recognizes only .tar files and not .img files. So all files you load here will be .tar files. Now for the recovery, it's going to be loaded into the AP section, which stands for Application Processor, and it deals with the system partition and the system files, which includes recovery. So when you load it up in this section, you will see the file name pop into this little window here. Then all you have to do is just press start. But before we do that, we are going to go to options and we are going to uncheck the auto reboot option so that it doesn't reboot us automatically after flashing, since we need to know how to go into the recovery in the first place. So before we start, you need to know the button combination to boot into recovery, and I'm going to put different versions of different devices on the screen. But for any new Samsung device, you are going to hold the volume up button and the power button, and when the screen turns off, you are going to hold it up until you boot into the recovery screen. In this case, it will be the TWAP, the Team Win Recovery Project. So you're going to hold it until it takes you to TWAP. Once you boot into TWAP, you will know you have successfully flashed a custom recovery. The next step, we are going to flash a custom ROM. Now, before this, we need to wipe our data partition. So we click on wipe and choose format data and type yes. We will then go back a step and do a factory reset as well. After that, we go back and reboot to recovery. Now from here, it's actually relatively easy and you'll just need to flash a custom ROM of your choice. You can check out the official sites and see if maybe they have a build for your device. If you cannot see any build, you can go check out XDA forums under your device and look at the custom ROMs people have compiled for your device, if any. Now please note, this is an unofficial build, as it was built outside the official team by a third party, so any support should be levied to the new developer who compiled it. If there are no custom ROMs, then you can just download a GSI of the ROM that you want, and I will put a link of all GSI that are currently available so you can check out your options. So please kindly check the description below and pick a GSI of your choice, and that is if you do not have a custom ROM already. But first, you need to confirm if your phone is supported by Project Treble by downloading an app called Treble Check to confirm this, and it will just show you like a check if it is and an X if it's not. So step back, reboot back into your device, download this app to check. If maybe you don't have a custom ROM, you need to do this so that you can install a GSI. But otherwise, you can just install a custom ROM. There's no need for a check there. You just install it directly, if you have it, that is. Now, my device lacks a custom ROM, but it is under Project Treble, so I'm going to use a GSI, which is sad, but I have no choice. Now, the step is straightforward. The file of the custom ROM is going to be a zip file, and depending on your ROM, you're either going to flash the zip file or the image file inside the zip file. So read up on the instructions of where you got the file to confirm which is which. In my case, for a GSI, it is in most cases going to be an image file. So you are going to push the file onto the device and move to the directory where you moved it to on your phone. Like, let's say maybe you pushed it to downloads on your phone. On your phone, you're going to go into downloads and you'll see the file there. Now, when you moved it onto your phone, you're going to tap it and install it into the system partition. For me, and for some reason, I cannot access my device storage, and so I cannot push the files there. So I cannot do this, but I have two options. I can either put the file in an SD card and put it beforehand into the device and navigate on the device to the SD card, which works for some reason, and install it from there, or I can install it using Fastboot. Now, for this step, you're going to download ADB and Fastboot tools on your computer, and this is what is going to allow us to have that connection between computer and device in order to use the ADB and Fastboot commands. You can check the video description to get the link to the files so you can download it. And now, when you have the ADB and Fastboot files, you unzip, and in the new unzipped folder, you'll see all of this. So now you have two options. You can either add this folder to your path, your system path, which will allow you to use it anywhere and allow you to call the ADB and Fastboot commands anywhere in the command terminal. You can just type it out anywhere. But to make it simple, we are going to work here. Now what you're going to do is going to move all these files, all the files that we need, the custom ROM, the custom recovery, the root file, you're going to move it into this ADB Fastboot folder. And this is now where we are going to work. And so in my case, I'm going to move the custom ROM, the root file, and in my specific case, I'm going to also move the stock recovery. I will not stick to TWAP due to some issues with my device, and I'll explain that later, maybe, probably. So now we are working in this folder. We are going to open a terminal here, and we do this by typing CMD in this directory bar over here and clicking enter. It will open the command prompt directly into this folder. So there's no need to change directories, no need of typing CD, no nothing. Now on our phone, you're going to click reboot and you're going to boot into Fastboot. It's going to give you an option there, ask you if you want to boot into system, recovery, or even the bootloader, or even Fastboot. Now from here, your device will be in Fastboot mode, and so you're going to plug it into your PC and you're going to flash the custom ROM. So you're going to take the custom ROM file and move it into the Fastboot and ADB folder, which we already did. Then you're going to use Fastboot flash system xyz.img, which is basically flashing the image file, or Fastboot flash system xyz.zip, and this is going to start the process of flashing the zip file on your device. I hope you got that right. .zip for the zip file, .img for the image file. I'm going to put it on screen. You can check it out. Now, as you can see, it's already beginning to flash, and it's going to take a few minutes since it's quite a huge folder, maybe like 8 gigabytes even, but most of the times it's 4 gigs. So you're going to give it a few minutes for it to flash, give it a few. And yeah, that's basically it. You've basically flashed a custom ROM on your device, and you're basically Done. Literally, that's it. Now, from here, it will be done, and then you will install a root, which is optional, and there are currently 3 options for root on any device. There is Magisk, KernelSU, and Kitune Mask, which is a newer and more up-to-date version of Magisk. So what you're supposed to do is boot back into recovery, and in advanced select ADB sideload, which is what you are going to use. These root files will never be image files, so in ADB sideload mode, you just type in your PC ADB sideload xyz.zip, and that's it. XYZ, of course, being the file name. It will vary, but you just need to type the file name as it is and the .zip, and that's it. You would have successfully rooted your device. Make sure to read up on all the root options and how they work, but for me, I suggest Magisk and even Kitune Mask, since these are more beginner-friendly options. The others, maybe you can delve into them a little bit later, since they are a bit more complex, basically KernelSU, since there's nothing else really. So now after rooting, we are basically done. We have installed a custom ROM and custom recovery on our device, and we have even rooted it. We are finished. We have rooted the device successfully. We now have the option to keep the custom recovery, by the way, but for me, I have to get rid of it. If I want a shot at booting the OS, I need to go back to my stock recovery. It's a tab A8 issue and it's not common at all. So for the others, you can just reboot into system and enjoy your custom ROM and custom recovery and even root. But for me, here are my extra steps, which are not normal at all, nor needed, and are entirely optional. But you can do it if your device is not booting. Maybe it can help, who knows. So, like I said, I extracted my recovery image file, which is actually a .img file in this case, which I'm going to flash to give me back the stock recovery. So it is in the fast boot file, and I'm going to boot into fast boot using twap. Now it's booting, let's give it some time. But now I'm in my terminal, and in this case, I'm going to use a slightly different code than I initially used. In this case, I'm going to use fastboot flash recovery xyz.img. Of course, xyz being the recovery image file and the .img being the extension file type. So, unlike before where we're using fastboot flash system, in this case we're going to use fastboot flash recovery xyz.image file, or basically .img. Now as you can see, it will begin flashing, so let's give it a few minutes. It's not going to take long, and basically we're done. After that, it will be finished and we can now boot into the system. There's nothing else we need to do. The first boot may take a bit, so we need to just be patient, but we have done everything needed and everything has gone successfully. Now, as we wait, I'm going to say a few things. If your device is not booting, it means you have missed a step, so you can maybe reach out below or maybe start the video all over again and see what you missed, or you can check out your device XDA forum to see if it's a documented issue on your device. An issue that is known is that older kernels, basically 4.1x, will not boot assured on every GSI. Google is working overtime to make sure we cannot do it, but there are GSI that do work, so it's a 50-50, and you basically need to try a GSI so that you can know this is working or this is not working. So if your device is not booting or it's boot looping, just go into download mode and pick another GSI. I am saying GSI because a custom ROM is tailored for a device and is assured to boot, since it's catered for one device and compiled for it. GSIs are normally where the issue are, since it's just a generic build, not tailored for any specific devices. So read up on forums and reach out to the developers on any issues you may have. If it's a GSI, and they can give you guidance, they can tell you what's going on. If there's anything wrong, they can help you. And now I can see we are done and we are booted successfully into the new OS, and it looks great. For me, I went with Lineage OS, which is the most stable custom ROM out there, but we have many other options. Now with that, thanks for watching. If you want a guide that goes more in depth in every term you need to know and get in-depth guidance on how to flash custom ROM for every device, well, every known device, that is. Something like a Samsung, a Sony, an Asus, Huawei, or even a Google Pixel, you can get it on my Buy Me a Coffee page for $20. Just buy it once and keep it for life. It contains dozens of pages and I believe it's quite worth it for you. Just buy it once and you keep it. Literally, no strings attached. You can also get the higher tier options and get support if you need maybe clarification on something that's not clear, or maybe you need more in-depth help. I will be on hand to answer your questions and help you out. So check that out and I hope you like it. You'll also be supporting the channel since most of this I'm doing for free. So it's quite good to have something to help the people and for you guys to help me back. So check it out. I'm willing to listen to feedback. If you feel it's good, if you feel it's not, maybe it's too pricey, you can tell me it's too expensive. I can adjust the price, but just tell me what you think. So link is in the description. Check it out. You can also donate. You can also become a member. There's also that option. If you maybe don't want to buy the book, you can tip maybe something like $2, $5, something like that. If you gained any help from this video, you can check it out below. Link in the description. So that's all. See you in the next video. Goodbye.